Hi, Jewish moms. I want to share a very sweet story that I heard from Rabbi Niven, from my teacher Rabbi Niven of the Personal Development Chaburas. He was telling us this past week about when he first came to Israel, and was at his first sort of Israeli yeshiva. Rabbi Niven comes from a place called Fair Lawn, New Jersey, and so he got up in sort of like this typical American community, So at this yeshiva, there was an older man who used to sit and learn, and so somebody else in the yeshiva said, oh yeah, this man over here, he's just like a regular guy in the community. So Rabbi Niven was talking with this regular guy in the community one morning, and he said. Like they were just talking, and he said, "Oh yeah, where are you from?" Da da da. And then Rabbi Niven was curious and said, "Tell me, how many kids do you have?" And so the man said, "Well, I don't really usually, tell people how many kids I have. It's sort of like a whatever." But Rabbi Niven said, "No, we're old friends. We've been talking. Come on, tell me. I really want to know." So the man said, "Well, the truth is, my wife and I have been blessed with Bli Ayin Hara 15 children." And Rabbi Niven was really taken back by that, because he's like, whoa. So this is what people here call, in like Orthodox, whatever, in like the Orthodox community, this is what people call a regular guy in the community. The father of 15 children doesn't even get any like special notice. He has an exceptionally large family. And Rabbi Niven was just saying like how, in our communities are really filled with really, really, truly exceptional people. He was saying something like, like we get used to, on CBS News or ABC News or whatever, that we get used to like these things as sort of like the local heroes, or someone who does like an exceptional something, someone who starts a nonprofit organization, or who is the CEO of this, or someone who does an exceptional act of kindness or whatever. And we love these stories about like sort of the local hero. But the truth is, our communities are packed with local heroes. Just look at your average Jewish mom, what we would call like the regular Jewish mom in our community. Okay, I know that my community is full of women like this. Women who are having far more than like your average 2.2, children that the average, whatever Western woman has, and having them spaced far closer together. And on top of that, all the acts of kindness that this person is doing with their family and in the community, and on top of that, getting ready for Shabbat every week, and getting ready for the Chagim, and keeping all the various laws which Judaism requires of her, and we are exceptional. We are really quite incredible, but we don't realize it. We don't realize how incredible we are. And something that I notice with myself is how really I focus on what I don't do. How often I focus on like what I don't accomplish. This child who I should have taken to the pediatrician, a few days ago, and I still haven't managed, and this child who has a torn sweater and I still haven't fixed it, and this room, and that's a mess, and that room, that's a mess, and the laundry, I still haven't put it away. I focus on what I haven't done, as opposed to all the things I do. I do a lot of things. I'm running around, keeping like a large family going, but like I give myself almost no credit for that, and focus almost exclusively on what I don't do. Isn't that terrible? It's really terrible. This past Shabbat we had a group. There's a really special group called. There's a special organization called Shabbat of a Lifetime, and they host Shabbat guests who've never seen Shabbat before. And so we hosted a group this week from Phoenix, Arizona. Really wonderful group of women from Phoenix, Arizona, and a lot of them had never really seen Shabbat before. And so they were saying to me, "Wow, when you do this every week and you have all these kids, and you get your house clean, and you make food for 3 meals, and you have guests, and whatever, and you get everything ready for Shabbat every single week." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And they're like, "Wow, like that's amazing. Isn't that a lot of work?" I'm like, "Well, you get used to it." But like so much of what we do is like a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's really a lot of work, like raising a Jewish family and, keeping Shabbat and keeping all the laws and doing what we need to do and raising our children. And it's a lot of work, but we just take it for granted. Okay, this is what we do and this is what we do. But we forget like that we are really local heroes. Like we're amazing to be doing all this. This morning I went into a very modern building. It was a building built about a year ago. It has the weirdest elevator I've ever seen in my life. This elevator, like when you're gonna get into an elevator, so it has an arrow up or down, and then you get inside and you choose the floor. So this very, very weird elevator, you choose the floor before you get into it. Very, very high-tech elevator. When you're waiting, you choose the floor. So I want to go to the 10th floor, so I wrote 10. Okay, and then you get into the elevator, and there's no buttons. There's nothing to do. You just are in the elevator going up. And it reminded me, let's say a young Jewish woman who decides to get into this elevator, and it's like the Jewish mom elevator. It's a bit of a nerve-wracking experience because like you get into the elevator, you press, okay, like Jewish wife, Jewish mom. Okay, you get married. Okay, before long, Bezrat Hashem, you have a kid. You are in the Jewish mom elevator. It's pretty nerve-wracking. You're like, okay, now it's just like going up and like what, and of course like we're focusing on what we're not accomplishing. Like we're focusing on the house is a mess and the kids are screaming and the kids are fighting and my marriage and my everything and the financial situation and everything. And we're focusing on what's not going right, right? But really, like, we are on that elevator. We are on this inevitable elevator, which leads to the 10th floor. It leads to the top floor. It leads to greatness. It leads to personal greatness. It leads to wisdom and strength and goodness. And it's like we're on this elevator of self-sacrifice and hard work, and and even without like even noticing what's happening, when we reach the end of this elevator, Jewish motherhood will have transformed us into truly great people. I believe that. But when you're inside, it's a bit nerve-wracking. You're like, oh my God, what is this Jewish mom life doing to me? It's driving me crazy. But it's taking you to greatness. Really, really, truly. Okay, so Jewish moms, I want you, plus all of you Jewish moms, to remember that. To remember how incredible you are. Just to be doing what you're doing. Just to be having, you're on average more than 2.2 kids and and leading a Jewish mom life and all the sacrifice that involves. Making Shabbat and keeping the Chagim and keeping all these hard Jewish laws, which we all keep and we take for granted. But we're like, well, everyone's doing it. Well, it doesn't make it any less exceptional. It's quite exceptional. It's really exceptional what we're doing. We are local heroes. We are amazing people. And our communities are filled with extraordinary people who don't really realize it. So I want to bless all of us, no matter how we can get like a bit nervous on that elevator ride, the elevator ride to the top floor. We like put ourselves down. We feel like we're not doing so great. But really, inevitably, this elevator of self-sacrifice and good deeds and working on ourselves and growing closer to Hashem leads us to greatness, to personal greatness at the top floor. And bless all of you with an amazing, amazing week.